Hello from the glitzy Ritz-Carlton in Abu Dhabi. No, I'm not here for a staycation. I'm here to find out more about paddle tennis, the new sport which is sweeping the nation. To tell me more about it is Adel Sajan, Group Managing Director of Danube Group. Adel, first of all, tell us about the new show, Padel with Adel.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Gulf News for coming in over here. So I'm so happy and so excited to be introducing our new show, Gulf News Padel with Adel. The show is going to be very interesting because I'm going to be teaching the audience about paddle tennis, how the game works, trying to interview both international and local people so that people who don't know what paddle tennis is, they get aware about the sport because trust me guys, this is a lot of fun.
Okay, so Adel, tell us just briefly, what is paddle tennis?
So paddle tennis is basically a combination of tennis and squash. It's a smaller sized tennis court, so it's about 1/3 the size. 20 by 10 is the court size, which is 200 square meters, and it has glass walls around it. So that's what the sport is. You have similar size to tennis, similar format of tennis where you have 4 boxes, and generally the sport is played with a racket like this, which is without a string. It's very easy to play. It's played with a ball that looks like a tennis ball, but it's a paddle tennis ball, and it's a pretty straightforward sport.
Tell us why there is so much buzz around this sport right now.
The kind of buzz around paddle tennis is amazing, and not only regionally but also globally. The way paddle has exploded, especially over the last 3-4 years, especially during COVID, has been unbelievable. I think COVID had a big role to play because a lot of the contact sports like football and cricket, were avoided during the COVID era. So racket games had a boom. And I've seen, paddle tennis in the UAE, in the Middle East, has really, really exploded because it's a lot of fun, it's easy to start, and anyone can start it.
Okay, and it's played on a court behind us like this. Just tell us a bit about this court, what it's like.
Yeah, so as you can see, the court is 20 by 10. There's a combination of glass and mesh. The glass, the reason is because unlike tennis, if the ball passes you back, it's a point for the other team. But here the ball is still active. It hits similar to squash, it hits the backboard and comes back in. So a player can continue the rally. That's the reason why the glass walls are there, and that's the reason what makes the sport so much more interesting. You have a net in the center that divides the 2 courts, and generally you have the service line, which is behind the first square. So generally you start off the game by having an underserve. The game has to be played 2v2, so it's a 4-people game, cannot be played 1-by-1 unless it's played in a singles court, which is unlikely, so you need 4 people to play. And that's what the game is about.
Okay, and just tell us briefly about the pointing system. How do you score the points in paddle tennis?
So it's the same like tennis. Generally, you play a 3-set game, a 3-set match, and each set has 6 games. So the person who reaches 6 first wins the set. Again, if it's 5-5, then the game goes on to 6-6. At 6-6, there's a tiebreaker for 7 points. Also during the serves, some of the WPT tournaments, they have a rule for golden points. So generally, if it's a deuce, they don't play the advantage. They have a golden point where whoever wins that point wins that particular game. But the format is exactly like tennis. So if you watch tennis before, then you'll be very familiar with the pointing system in paddle tennis.
And just tell us about the age groups. I'm seeing a lot of young people playing paddle tennis, but it's for everybody, right?
Yes, that's another reason why the sport is so popular. You could have young kids. I have 3 kids. I'm going to be putting them very soon at an early age, at 4, where you can start off the sport. And there are people who are 50, 55, 60, who are still playing decent. In fact, I will be having an interview with Bella very soon, and he's 42 years old, and he just won the tournament in Miami. So that speaks volumes. So it doesn't matter if you're 50 plus or if you're very young. It's a sport which you can start off very easily.
It does look like a very physically taxing game. You're running around, smashing the ball around. How many calories do you think you would burn in a match?
Depends on the level and the intensity you're playing at. I play at an intermediate level, which is somewhere in the middle. And generally, when me and my friends play, we try to track it down. We burn anywhere between 800 to 1,000 calories. Typically, a game lasts about 90 minutes. So yeah, that's a lot of calories. That's what keeps me fit. It's not my diet. It's paddle tennis.
And roughly, what does it cost to play paddle tennis?
That's a very good question. Now, this depends on where you play. So paddle tennis can be either indoor or outdoor. Obviously, when it's hot, or if it's too windy, or if it's raining, or during the day, indoor is the preferable option because there's no, movement of the wind. The weather is better. But generally in Dubai, you can get outdoor courts starting for about 200 dirhams a game for a 90-minute game, which comes out to be about 50 dirhams a player, and it goes all the way up to about 450 dirhams a game, which comes out to about 115 dirhams a player. So it really depends on what's the quality of the facility. Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? What kind of court they're using? What is the buzz around it? All those factors. But anywhere between 50 to 150 dirhams per game per person. So I'm super excited about this show, which is Gulf News Padel with Adel. And the reason is because hopefully we'll be getting a chance to interview a lot of people coming from different backgrounds, both locally and regionally. And everyone is going to be giving their bit of advice about padel. Padel is a new sport. It's a growing sport. In fact, it's the fastest growing sport in the history of sports. I was speaking to somebody and they were telling me that there are 3,000 clubs, not courts, that have been launched in the last 2 years. And even in the UAE, we've had a tremendous growth from 10 courts 3 years ago to more than 350 courts in the UAE. So that speaks volumes. Definitely there's something good about the sport. And please stay tuned, watch out the space, and you can get more information about the show at gulfnews.com because there's going to be some interesting things following regarding paddle tennis.
Okay, so there you go. That is paddle tennis. If that sounds like fun to you, why not give it a try? My name's Imran Malik, Gulf News reporter, signing off.